political and social structures, shape independent mass media, assure economic growth, etc., is in the interest of Poland. Above all, increasing the degree of Kiev's independence from Moscow is essential. The path to achieving these goals should lead through preparing and presenting to the Ukrainian counterparts both long-term programs and incidental undertakings that would allow to take advantage of the NATO and EU structures in joint endeavors. Where it would be possible, the proposed undertakings should proceed as bilateral cooperation or within the framework of an ad hoc coalition of willing. Such initiatives may lead directly to multinational cooperation schemes and consequently in due time to the formal entry of Ukraine into the Western structures. A prerequisite for such propositions being made must be our conviction that the partners in Kiev will renounce the policy of NATO, yes, but together with the Russian Federation. I have to admit that until recently, I held the position that the perspective of further enlargement of NATO, especially with the accession of Ukraine, is disadvantageous from our standpoint. I feared further straining on the unity of the alliance, the loss of its fundamental defensive capabilities. With the admission of Poland, the Czech Republic and Hungary, the politicians within the alliance gave consideration to the opinions of the military staff formulating the minimum provisions necessary for sustaining the defensive ability of the enlarged pact. With the oncoming enlargement, it seems that the military considerations have been completely dominated by the political decision-making. Assuming that the Istanbul summit might open membership opportunity for Kiev, Belgrade, and the remaining Balkan states, which seems to be correct idea nowadays, we shall be facing the necessity of reconsidering the means of delivering the obligation taken within the alliance. NATO, in its traditional form, one that assured Allied victory, began evolving immediately after the accession of Poland, Czech Republic and Hungary. Since then, much has been done to work out the practical details of military operations. Some countries adapt to the new conditions in less time than it takes others. Participation in the stabilization mission in Iraq indisputably constitutes a favorable impulse for the adjustment efforts of national armies to meet the modern day challenges. The presence of Ukrainian contingent within the Polish division in Iraq is an impressive success of the pro-Western ideas in Kiev. Nevertheless, the principal problem remains the strategic vision of the alliance. The currently intensifying discussion over the plans of considering the stabilization and control over the vast region of the Greater Middle East as constituting a challenge and strategic goal for the changing North Atlantic Alliance brings about much frustration and even more questions unanswered. It seems clear that having the well-being of transatlantic ties in mind, a new goal must be found to supersede the past need of defense from the communist threats. Without a strategic goal, NATO will go out of business, as somebody said before. Should the Eastern partners of America be willing to realize that their interest in the region that runs from Central Asia through the Black Sea, Turkey, Iran, the Persian Gulf, the Middle East proper, Egypt, and all the way to Morocco, in concurrence and agreement with the United States, then the new strategy could assure success to the participants. Let us put aside the urging hesitation concerning the feasibility of such an agreement on this issue and assume that it does exist. It would imply that the Black Sea region would not only constitute a strategically important route for transmitting the Caspian energy resources, it would be the base for the political activity conducted by NATO in the region from Afghanistan to Syria. Turkey would uphold its key strategic position and a natural consequence being the Black Sea countries participating in the cooperation. Bulgaria and Romania will become members of the alliance this year. Admitting Ukraine and Georgia would make the Black Sea into a NATO-enclosed body of water. Naturally, achieving this